I'm not threatening you. Say one more word, and that's 30 days. 30 days.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Sovereign Citizens Hall of Fame with your boy TP. Today, we're going to be doing a little something different. We are going to be courtroom hopping into the courtroom of Judge Andrew Cole Wakowski out of the state of Michigan for an update on the sovereign citizen that we covered by the name of Robert Shovan. But we're also going to share the testimony of a young sovereign citizen that claims that he knows how to not contract with the state. And not only that he knows how to do that, but he's also had victories in doing so. So I wanted to share that with you guys, get your thoughts on that as well. But before I do that, for those of you that don't remember who Mr. Robert Shovan is, from our first or from his first appearance that we had here on the channel, or you just forgot who he was, check out this clip.
Yes, I have an issue with the fact that under the bankruptcy of the United States of America, does the prosecutor have bonded fiduciary or sworn trust? Does she act as a prosecutor with bonding and act as a trustee for the United States? So is she able to do that?
Are you asking me a question?
Yes.
Okay, I'm not gonna answer any questions. You have a motion that you want to make, or challenging something, and
yes,
saying that the court should move in one direction or another. I'll make a decision on that.
I would like to make a motion to challenge the validity of the prosecutor being able to prosecute this venue.
As you guys can see, Mr. Robert Shovan definitely had his sovereign citizen head on, and he went even way deeper than that as far as getting at the prosecutor. So if you want to see that, guys, I will make sure that I have a link to that down in the description. If you want to go back and check that first appearance out first before you check out the update and this young man's testimony, you can do that, or you can just jump right in with me and go back and check that out later. But with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into this proceeding and also hear what this young sovereign citizen has to say.
All right, so this is 25 RO 004731. This is where this is Robert Shovan.
That's Mark on the back of people.
Mr. Shovan, first and last name.
Robert Shovan.
Date time set for a jury trial. My understanding that Mr. Shovan is going to plead guilty to count 2 driving while that's suspended. The other 3 counts will be dismissed. Mr. Shovan, if you're ready to proceed with that, you just need to raise your right hand. Swear or affirm the testimony that you give today the truth, the whole truth, now, sir, can you read, write, and understand the English language?
Yes.
Can you hear and understand me today?
Yes.
If you have a full chance to discuss this matter, present yourself. Which brings up another issue. We've gone through this many times in the past. You do have the right to be represented by an attorney or represent yourself. You understand that, right? All right. You understand you're charged with a couple of misdemeanor charges. They carry with them maximum penalties that include jail time. You understand that? All right. You understand that at any moment in time you can say, Judge, I want to have an attorney represent me, and I ask the MIDC to do that. You understand that?
Yes.
With all that understanding, you want to proceed today representing yourself, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You're pleading guilty to driving while license suspended. That's a misdemeanor charge. It carries with it a maximum fine of $500 plus costs and up to 93 days in jail. All of this court's discretion. You understand those maximum penalties?
Yes.
You have the right to a trial, either by myself or by a jury, and at that trial, you would have the right to confront, cross-examine, and question all witnesses brought against you. You'd have a right to have the court subpoena witnesses on your behalf. You'd have a right to testify if you wanted to, or to remain silent, and no one can say anything about you remaining silent. If you appear before the court today, you're presumed innocent of the charge. Your guilt has to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt. Do you understand that by entering the plea, you give up those trial rights I just outlined?
Yes.
Once you plead guilty, there'll be no trial. You understand that?
Yes.
Are you currently on probation or parole anywhere?
No.
All right, you're pleading guilty today because you are guilty?
Yes.
You understand that if you're not a citizen of the United States, a conviction of this type could have additional consequences, such as deportation, exclusion from admission to the United States, or denial of naturalization?
Yes.
All right. Has anyone made you any promises that we haven't discussed or threatened you in any way to convince you to enter this plea?
No.
It's your own choice to do so.
Yes.
Directing your attention to the date of January 24th, 2025, were you in the city of Royal?
Yes.
And at that date and time, did you operate a motor vehicle?
Yes.
And at the time that you were operating a motor vehicle, were you unlicensed, or did you have a suspended or revoked license?
Yes.
Which one of those?
Suspended.
Are you satisfied with the plea?
Satisfied, Your Honor.
The court too is satisfied that the plea is knowing, voluntary, and accurate. Offset the same. I'm prepared to move towards the immediate sentence. If you want to say, Mr. Markham?
Yes, Your Honor, just very briefly, Mr. Shovan is willing to take responsibility for the driving on a suspended license here today. And I understand that he also does have an issue that was bound over to circuit court. For that reason, given the fact that his license is suspended, this is going to suspend it again. I'd just recommend finding the cost in this case.
Okay. Mr. Chauvin, you have an opportunity to address the court before I impose sentence. Anything you want to say?
Not really. I want to get myself in trouble.
Okay. That's fair enough. All right. I've gotten to know you a little bit over the period of these offenses. I acknowledge that you're taking responsibility for this particular offense. That does say something about where you're at right now. You also have a much more serious offense that you're dealing with at the circuit court, as I'm aware. So for those reasons, I do believe a fine is the appropriate response here. There are state costs of $125, a fine of $200, court costs of $200. So the total is $525. I can put that on a payment plan, and if you need some time to pay, what would be better for you?
Just 30 days would be fine. I can do that.
30 days to pay. That's the luck, sir. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Well, guys, we've come to the end of the update on the proceeding dealing with Mr. Shovan. If you remember, if you did see his first appearance, he is already facing some serious charges that had been sent up to circuit court. And that's why you heard the judge said, listen, we're going to allow you to pay these fines. We know you're facing something very serious in another courtroom. So he pled guilty to driving while his license was suspended. He ended up having to pay the $525 fine, but they showed him some leniency because he's facing some real serious charges, for cashing a fake check of I think the amount was like $30,000. If you haven't seen that, I'm telling you, go check it out. He even had testimonial from those that worked in the credit union while this was going on. But nonetheless, enough of that. Let's go ahead and jump into this young man's testimony. You guys give me your thoughts on it. I'm not even going to do any commentary after that. So I appreciate you guys for joining me. This is Sovereign Citizens Hall of Fame. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. All right, check this out.
Yo, family, how y'all doing? What's going on? So I want to tell you guys something that happened to me recently, right? So we're going to be talking about my right to travel experience, failed and succeed, right? And I'm going to tell you the reason why I failed, right? So let me explain how it went, right? So, many people know me, right? I do right to travel and everything like that. I got the passport. I'm going to do not detain, right? And so I ended up getting a car right from the dealership, and the car register and everything like that. But I got this for my wife, right? So me personally, I don't drive it, right? So it was one night, I was wanting to go to the store. I was in a rush, and I'm like, man, you know what? I don't feel like taking the car out the garage and doing all this stuff, right? So I just end up hopping in her car, right? And I start driving, right? So I'm traveling down, I think we in Texas. We stay in Texas. So we traveling down the road. So I end up speeding a little bit, right? So the police put on his sirens and his flashes and everything like that, and he pulled us over, right? So once he pulled us over, he asked me for license registration, right? Now, let me explain this though, right? The car is registered, so it's no ifs, ands, or buts that is jurisdiction, right? Like you literally driving around with jurisdiction, right? So the officer came to the car. He license registration. I ended up giving him my passport card, international driver's license, right? He asked for insurance. I got insurance on the vehicle, so I showed him the insurance card, right? So everything checked out besides the international driver's license. He said, hey, where you from? I said, man, I live in American Samoa, right? So I'm throwing them off and everything like that because it's only so much I really can say I'm traveling with a registered vehicle. And so what he did was he said, yeah, man, how long you been in Texas? I said, a few months. He said, yeah, so you pretty much established residency because if you've been in the state for a certain period of time, they want you to have a license. And I said, what I told him, I said, well, I come back and forth to Texas. I don't live out here permanently, right? And so he asked me for an address that's here in the state, right? So I gave him an address. I'm like, we own one of the properties over here. So I'm like, I don't live here, right? So he said, okay, I just need you to sign the citation. So after he made me sign the citation, right, I wrote UCC. He said, no, man, you can't write UCC on this. He said, you gotta write your normal signature. So me personally, I didn't want to waste time, right? Because I knew I messed up. And the reason why I knew I messed up was I wasn't supposed to travel in no registered car. But I'm going to let you guys know the outcome of this whole situation. So after I ended up signing the ticket and everything like that, he told me to park on the side. So, of course, I waited till, he left and everything. My wife came. We left from the scene, right? So nothing happened with that situation, right? And I'm going to tell you why this is a success. If many of y'all don't know it, I got pulled over a few months ago in Texas for driving no plates, no registration, no insurance, no nothing, right? And so the officer issued me a citation, told me to come to court. The court date I never showed up to. I never showed up to the first court date, the second court date, or third court date. Now, remind you, I'm still in Texas, right? So when the police ran my name again when he pulled me over, right? When a different police officer ran my name, no ticket, no warrants, nothing popped up. Because remember, I don't have any contracts in the state of Texas. So when he was going through his computer, he couldn't find anything on me. He said, man, it says you born in Illinois. I'm not seeing nothing. So even my Illinois contracts he don't see. So no contracts was still there. So that is good because I have no contracts with the state. So no warrants was ever issued out under a driver's license. I never had one. Because even the car registration, you can't issue a warrant out on car registration. You only can issue a warrant out on the driver's license or state ID. That's why I always tell you guys never to get in contracts with the state. Because the moment you get in contracts with the state, you waive all your rights. So for the most part, I'll say this is a success because I finally get to know something. I don't care about the citation. We get 100 citations. I got 50 citations and I never showed up to court. And even in Chicago, right? So when I went to Chicago, I got pulled over and stopped. They told me to come to court. I never showed up to court. I got pulled over again for a whole different situation. And that warrant from that court date never showed up. So that's the good thing about traveling, right? Because you don't got to worry about, traveling with no contracts. So whether you get a citation or not, with no contracts with the state, they can't issue a warrant. So that's my testimony. So that's me telling y'all, yes, them citations don't mean nothing. When I ripped that ticket up and said I ain't going to court, nothing happened. So I got pulled over by the police again. Nothing happened. Not a bench warrant, not nothing. And I searched up on the court docket. Guess what happened to those tickets? They sent it to collections. They send the tickets to collections because they got nothing to collect on. And on top of that, they got no warrant they can issue. So, I would like to say right to travel succeed once again. Once again, right to travel succeed. Don't matter if you get them citations. Rip up. If you never had contracts in the state, rip them up. I never had contracts in the state of Texas. I'm not worried about Texas. I never had contracts. I'm ripping them up every time I get a ticket. Listen, and that showed me something else, right? While we want to argue on the side of the road, we can get a police officer's a signature and they'll give us a ticket. You still ain't got to show up. You don't have contracts. So whether you sign the ticket or not, you don't have to show up to court. Whether you give them an address or not, you don't have to go show up to court. You don't have any contracts with the state. So that's what I learned. And that's what I learned in this whole situation. So I'm happy I got pulled over. I'm happy I got cited because now I know that no warrants is linking up to anything. I got over 3 to 4 citations that was issued to me, and not one of them got a warrant on it. Not one. Matter of fact, let me take that back. I got 4 tickets because I got I got another ticket in Florida. It's the same thing. I never show up to court. I never show up to court. That's why I tell a lot of people. They be like, man, bro, I got this court case, man. I was caught driving without a license. What should I say? What should I do? And I say, why are you showing up to court? Why are you not at the DMV canceling out that driver's license to take away that presumption that you're a resident and also take away the court ability to issue a warrant on the driver's license to the Secretary of State? Y'all can't be that crazy, right? So you got to understand that canceling contracts does have power. And like I tell a lot of people, you want to cancel your contracts. You want to make sure you got the state jurisdiction. And that was a good time. This is a very, very good lesson. And for all my nationals out there, I want you guys to know, this stuff is real. So whether you get a citation or not, Whether you get a citation, it's a win. Whether you don't get a citation, it's a win. So that same citation I got just a couple of days ago, where I ripped it up, the same thing I bought. No, I didn't rip it up. I balled it up. My citation before that, I ripped it up. So regardless of not, I never show up to court. I never pay the ticket. Nothing happens. I'm out. Peace and love.
I'm not threatening you. Say one more word and that's 30 days. 30 days.